Hello, welcome back to the Soul Potential CEO podcast. I am Tia Marie, and the topic of today's chat is the drama of awakening. Why seeking selves and the real work begins after the aha moment. If you've been following me for a while or you're in my world, you would know that I have a very pragmatic tone when it comes to spiritual seeking. A lot of the content and things that I build really attempts to have a conversation about the looping states that we find ourselves in the spiritual seeking world. And I think I'm talking a little bit more about the online commerce of spiritual journeying and spiritual education. And I think this topic is really important right now because what I see in community, what I see in conversations with voices that I resonate with is this sense of this journey falling flat in our experience. It's like eating ice cream sundaes for weeks on weeks. It has that sensation of once we sink our teeth into the fantastic internal feeling, the landscape that we experience when we find our inner soul conversation. When we finally connect to that, there is this feeling of, oh my God, I've been searching for this magic, this taste, this flavor that is so delicious to me. And I just can't get enough of it. And then it's like, if you grew up in a home where you weren't allowed to have junk food or chips or soda or candy, and then you go to a sleepover at your friend's house whose pantry is stocked full of junk food, and you just eat it until it makes you sick. We already know that this type of addictive behavior, or in the topic of nourishment, just like what our bodies need food wise, at some point the pendulum swings and you level out and you're like, God, I just need some vegetables. Like, I need some protein. Like, it doesn't feel healthy. And a lot of people are experiencing that because we've had this hard run in the online spiritual industry where it's been a bit like the Wild West, and now people have reached their reached their threshold of like, well, I should be seeing some real results by now. And I've been sold into a few things that didn't really pan out for me. And I feel like the marketplace as a whole, the pendulum is swinging back to a really stable place of balance. We're having the conversations with ourselves like our spiritual practices are important to us. And not only that, we've developed enough internal structure to know that we need an integrated, embodied, grounded approach. So I want to talk about why the term awakening is such a powerful marketing tool in the spiritual industry. Awakening is a powerful marketing tool because it taps into the primal desire for transformation, the promise of a life beyond the ordinary, the thrill of discovering our own hidden truths. So, a lot like bro marketing or pain point marketing, awakening messages create a heightened sense of urgency and a perceived gap between the current state and the idealized self, right? So this feeds on the notion that something essential is missing. That conversation doesn't work if you don't have that sense. Just like bro marketing tells people they need a six-figure business to be fulfilled, or pain point marketing pushes on insecurities to create that urgency, awakening marketing offers the allure of transcending limitations and the pain of not knowing, right? That is actually painful when you tap into that source that satiates what you've been seeking. And then there's no real next step. This position creates an irresistible pull and convinces people that they're just one course, one ritual, one initiation away from accessing a transformative experience that will set them free. And that makes it not only highly compelling, but also a highly profitable business. So the result is we get stuck in a cycle that sells the endless quest for more awakening rather than focusing on developing the tools for true self mastery. So here's the thing, I believe in online education. I believe in community. I believe in initiation. I believe in all of the things that are being sold out there in the sense of how they are named. I believe in the container, the potential of the container. I offer these containers to my clients as well. What I do not do is sell the notion that there is a outside force ultimately that can answer those questions for you. So everything that I have worked on developing over the past 4 or 5 years has been carefully crafted as an invitation into the structure that you need to address the core components of a spiritual journey, to move away from this culture of spiritual seeking. Because the seeker identity is crafted and sold in the same way that the other marketing strategies are crafted and sold that we're really sick of. It's just living under the guise of something spiritual that should not be that. And that's what bothers me the most, I think, is that I feel that our soul, like on a soul level, it's a very pure, innocent, bright, beautiful energy that shouldn't be taken advantage of in that way. Seeking is attractive because it offers the thrill of anticipation, the promise of discovery, and the allure of something greater that's just beyond our grasp. And at its core, the act of seeking is powerful because it activates the mind and spirit with endless possibilities, letting us imagine that the next revelation, the next aha moment will finally satisfy our deeper cravings for purpose, clarity, connection, all the things that we're looking for. And in a culture that thrives on novelty, seeking ends up becoming an escape from the everyday. It provides a sense of progression or movement that is often an illusion. So I don't have an issue with finding that spark within and connecting to limitless possibilities or soul potential because literally that's what my entire brand is built around. What I focus on is how do we live and embody a life that creates from that place of potential and possibility while holding the inner position of ultimate self led initiation and responsibility? And how do we gain access to the tools that support us in that journey? We have to move beyond the aha. That aha moment is a really addictive moment because the feeling that we get when we're in that sensation is such a beautiful it's such a beautiful dimension. It's such a beautiful realm. It's like the feeling of God whispering in your ear, and we want to live like that. My belief is the reason we want to live in that state is because it's our most natural state. It's us being actually able to hear ourselves, us being actually able to see ourselves. us being able to tap in and connect to that genius that we know so well that is whispering to us from inside of the most honest places. What makes it addictive is the idea that our personal power is just one tiny step away. It's a dopamine driven cycle, similar to the way that social media or bro marketing taps into our need for instant gratification. So, seeking keeps us in a perpetual state of preparation, which feels safer than the reality of embodiment and execution. Embodiment and execution means that we actually have to face and integrate our discoveries. This creates a loop that's easy to sell, but difficult to break free from. It's easier to keep searching than to truly apply and commit to the work that it takes to embody our potential. What is the difference between real or fabricated spiritual work? These are quick fix mentalities, instant ascension, quick manifestation. Real spiritual work is rooted in depth, it's rooted in consistency, it's rooted in the embodiment of inner truths, whereas fabricated spiritual work often promotes surface level enlightenment. This capitalizes on fleeting aha moments, a seeker paradigm, convincing people that they must always search, always unlock something new outside of themselves, promising endless answers and a series of quick hits, rather than guiding your clients toward real transformation. The truth is, there is something absolutely epic beyond the aha. There is a realm of profound creation and personal power, but that space isn't found in the search itself. It's found in the execution and the embodiment of your learned truths. The real work lives in the practice of integrating insights, of living in alignment with our own discoveries and translating them into daily action. Really, what I'm talking about here is the difference between having an insight and actually using it to do something with, actually using it to create change. This is such a common, it's just a common trap. Ideas are fun. Future visioning is fun. We have so many dreams about things that we want to create in the world. And even if we're not coming to this conversation from a spiritual perspective, everybody has dreams. Otherwise, what would be the fun of living, right? That is why we're here, to experience life. And it's a beautiful thing. But when it comes time to do the not so fun parts of what it takes to get us to our dreams, if we don't have the right support, if we don't have access to systems or teachings that actually help propel us forward, as soon as we hit an edge, as soon as we face part of the execution and there's a block there, the spiritual seeking paradigm looks to figure out what needs to be healed in that block and then creates a lot of drama around it. That's why this conversation is called the drama of awakening, right? And that drama, as soon as you're involved in that drama, as soon as you're saying, this is a 12D consciousness, this is an ascension symptom, this is a there's so many things that people say. I was just watching a reel the other day of Bashar talking about the election coming up. If you're listening to this in the future, it's being recorded during an election time in the US. And I thought to myself, God, I am so sick of seeing this crap. We need to focus on our internal power to create change in the world when we learn how to master our own internal prophecy. When we learn how what we focus on, the stories that we buy into, the paradigms of waiting for some alien race or some bloodline healing or some activation to solve that lack of inner knowing, to give us access to a purposeful step forward. It's irresponsible, is what I think. True spiritual work pushes us to apply, embody, and execute our highest intentions consistently. It helps us build a life that reflects on our inner mastery rather than remaining on an eternal hunt, which I just find very similar to indentured servitude. I believe that we need communities right now for people who resonate with this conversation that are willing to come together and use this conversation as the doorway, to use a commitment to a grounded relationship to evolution and to be the ones who are bridging the gap so that we have that balance. Everything is possible. Whatever you believe in will create your reality. But execution skill, human skill, stepping forward, it's really a powerful place to be in the middle of having one foot in co creation with your human skill and the other foot in co creation with your soul's potential, and let possibility and vision to create what is good in the world guide you forward. I say that a lot, and I've had people tell me that position is inaccurate because there is nothing good or bad about the soul journey, etc. But the way I see it is that an intention to create things that are good for the soul means that we are focused on moving forward in directions that help us to flourish and thrive rather than seek the instant gratification of whatever we're in front of that may not be aligned with our soul's deeper wisdom. If this is a conversation that you like, share it with somebody. You can always reach out to me, and I want to invite you to join this community. I am launching the Sinatia Guild. This is a community for visionaries, rebels, creators, leaders, and legends who are ready to step into community with other souls and humans that are having the same experience and feel compelled to innovate and be an alternative. This feels really potent, important, and powerful to me because, as somebody who came from a very pragmatic, grounded, hands in the dirt career in my past, and then stepped into the path of attempting to integrate through spiritual seeking, I did have that aha moment. And where that aha moment led me was through doorway after doorway of insight. What I arrived to after that was a place where that pragmatic nature led me back to, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to be a powerful, happy, thriving human? I am committed to creating here, to being focused here, to connecting into divine wisdom, soul wisdom. I'm not interested in anything that would take me off that path. I think there's a lot of other people out there who are looking for a room or a table to sit at that feels the same. And if that's you, I invite you to join. You can find information about the guild at sinatia.com/guild. There's a beautiful oath. We have a code of conduct. There are 3 tiers of membership, something for everyone at every level of investment that fits for you and your life. And I'm really excited about what we're going to be building together. I look forward to connecting with you, and I hope to see you inside.